First of all, he's beautiful. Beautiful smile.
A high kilowatt smile and a magnetic personality.
Everyone liked him.
But now, no one can find him.
This case doesn't make much sense.
Logan Schiendelman has vanished.
Who benefits from Logan's disappearance?
Was he the victim of foul play or lost, not wanting to be found?
There was a lot of tension at home. He didn't want to be there.
And we're asking the tough questions.
When I'm going to ask this, but don't take it as my accusing you of anything.
Logan Schiendelman's high school days in Tumwater, Washington were filled with friends, fun, and football.
He's a good athlete too. Yeah, he's really good. He started defensive back in high school for 2 years actually. Took it to state twice.
His athletic ability, all-American good looks, and easygoing attitude brought lots of friends.
I don't know of anyone that ever disliked him.
But according to his grandmother, who didn't initially return our phone calls, but did answer the door when we showed up,
If you didn't mind, we'd love to ask you some questions about Logan.
the good times Logan had in high school didn't follow him after graduation.
He'd changed a lot. He had couple things happen right after high school that made him really aware of racism that he hadn't really thought about as much. And he had decided that his friends weren't really his friends anymore.
Ready for a fresh start, Logan Schiendelman enrolled at Washington State University, more than 300 miles from home.
His first year at college, I think, turned out to be very unpleasant for him. And I don't think he had a whole lot of friends there.
And his close friends from high school, he'd all but forgotten.
I'd contacted him a bunch of times after we graduated. I'd message him on Facebook. He would read them, but would never reply.
After his freshman year at college and still unsure what he wanted to do with his life, Logan returned to Tumwater to live with his grandmother and half-sister. But friends say he wasn't the same happy-go-lucky Logan.
He came into my work and brought an application in, and I was just like, hey, like, good to see you, like, how are you doing? And he didn't say much. He kind of got like nervous when I saw him. It was very weird.
For the next year, Logan kept busy working odd jobs around town. Then one Thursday morning in May, his grandma was getting ready for work when Logan said something she thought was a bit bizarre.
He was really nervous, and he said he'd had an epiphany, and he was driving around. And I said, well, talk to me tonight when I got back from home.
But that talk and Logan's epiphany didn't transpire.
And of course, I wish I could have said, sit down, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Ginny Gibo would never see him again.
The next day, I pinged his phone, and it pinged near his mom's house. So I thought, well, he went over there, was visiting with her, and so that was okay.
It wasn't okay. Logan wasn't with his mother in nearby Olympia. In fact, detectives believe he went in the opposite direction.
And we have activity on his phone going down towards I-5, heading south. And then the phone starts heading back up north. And then it heads south again and stops where we recovered the vehicle.
When the 19-year-old hadn't come home by Monday, his grandma filed a missing persons report. Police ran the plates on his car and discovered it had been impounded.
It all starts here with 3 bizarre 911 calls. A car is drifting across lanes of a busy highway in Olympia, Washington. However, the callers noticed something strange. There's no one in the vehicle.
We find out the vehicle's been recovered already. And then we get the story of some witnesses saying that they saw a subject running out from the vehicle. And for it to be abandoned on the interstate and hitting a Jersey barrier, that's weird as well.
What do you mean abandoned on the interstate?
One of the witnesses said the vehicle had veered towards the center lane and hit the barrier and stopped.
It was a truck driver heading north on I-5 who claims he saw someone jump right out of the moving vehicle.
And he sees somebody jump out of the passenger side of the vehicle.
The passenger side of the vehicle.
Right.
And what was the description given of this individual?
They initially said a white male. but basically a male, and then ran towards the woods off the interstate.
Police searched a 2-mile radius on those woods by air and on the ground, but never found any sign of what might have been Logan. One possible sighting of a naked teen later that night brings even more intrigue to the case.
What about this black guy who was seen without any clothes wandering around?
We thought that might have been Logan as well. And so they did initiate a search using dogs and didn't locate anything.
You weren't able to identify who that was. Could have been Logan, maybe not.
Could have been Logan, could have been anybody.
Inside the teen's abandoned car, cops found his wallet, ID, and cell phone, plus something that leads to even more unanswered questions.
One of the curious things was in the center console of the vehicle were some bags of like grocery bags, which kind of led us to believe that if somebody was on the driver's side going over to the passenger side, those bags would have been knocked down. So a theory we have that there might have been 2 people and the truck driver only saw 1 person.
And they can't explain other strange occurrences either.
What's so bizarre is the check-in at Facebook.
It's very bizarre.
An unexplainable digital clue in the case came 1 week after Logan vanished.
He did a check-in on his Facebook page at the Olympia regional airport.
If he's checking in via his own Facebook page, and you're saying no one else had the password?
Right.
That you know of?
That we know of.
So either someone is trying to throw law enforcement off, or in fact, this is indeed Logan, right?
Correct.
And nearly a year after he disappeared, there's been no sign of Logan Schiendelman.
I have no reason to believe he's been killed. I don't have any reason to believe he's alive.
But his family might just have a few reasons.
Who benefits from Logan's disappearance?
What happened to Logan Schiendelman?
I don't know if it's ever.
You don't have a day when you forget about him or you don't think about him.
The boy with the big smile vanished without a trace.
So Logan's vehicle is in the middle of the interstate, abandoned.
Correct.
Leaving detectives baffled and his family bitterly divided.
We were told that you were trying to keep Logan away from the black side of his family.
Logan Schiendelman was raised by his grandmother, Ginny Gibo, here in Tumwater, Washington. Logan returned home to live with his grandma after just 1 year in college.
He was kind of at a loss for what he was going to do with his life.
And according to her, he started to smoke marijuana.
I know he did a lot of smoking pot, and I wondered sometimes if that had caused a little bit of paranoia.
Ginny believes her grandson was paranoid the morning he told her he had an epiphany. She told him that they'd talk that afternoon. But Logan simply vanished. The next day, his car was abandoned in the middle of Interstate 5. Detectives are even more perplexed after finding Logan's wallet, ID, and cell phone inside his convertible.
If Logan's gonna run away on his own, is he gonna leave his cell phone in his wallet?
Normally you would say no, that people don't do that.
If Logan didn't run away on his own, who'd want to get rid of him?
You have one part of the family saying there's somebody responsible, and the other side of the family that is saying, nobody's responsible.
Logan's Uncle Mike worked in law enforcement for years, and there was one person he thought detectives should investigate.
If it were in the home, would be the tension and the hostility that's going on with his sister and her boyfriend.
Uncle Mike claims when Logan returned from college, life at his grandmother's home had become very difficult.
He was very upset about the boyfriend living in the home.
Logan's half-sister had moved in her boyfriend, and according to the uncle, he and Logan didn't get along.
We know that at some point there were fights, physical fights.
We asked Logan's grandma about Uncle Mike's allegations.
They didn't particularly like each other, but they just kind of avoided each other.
Detective Frawley questioned the live-in boyfriend, who agreed to take a polygraph test.
I asked him if he was responsible for the disappearance of Logan, and I asked him if he knew who was responsible for the disappearance of Logan. And he answered no to both questions, and my opinion was on it that he was not showing any deception when I asked those questions.
Polygraphs aren't perfect. There's the possibility that he could pass a polygraph somehow without being truthful.
Cops have never charged the boyfriend in connection with Logan's disappearance. Now, another theory detectives have considered is whether Logan's alleged drug use may have gotten him into trouble.
We don't know if he maybe owed people money or if he might have gotten some bad drugs or maybe done some other drugs. That's one of the theories.
Problem is, there's no evidence that a crime has even been committed.
You know, he could very well just be out there right now and want to be left alone.
But why would Logan want to be left alone? His Aunt Tina has a theory that only makes the mystery deepen further.
Maybe he saw this as the only way to get out of this conflict, this dysfunctional family of his.
Before going away to college, Logan secretly met one side of his family for the very first time, the black side. Tina Crary says it was an emotional visit.
I showed him a picture of his grandfather, my older brother, and he stared at it. He said, he goes, it feels good to see someone that looks like me.
She believes Logan was desperate to learn more about his background.
He wanted some answers, and he wasn't getting them at home.
Tina Crary claims Logan didn't want his grandmother to know about their visit.
He said, if she finds out that I came here, she's going to be really mad.
We were told that you were trying to keep Logan away from the black side of his family.
Yeah, I don't think that's true either. They made no effort to get out and see him. And I had pretty much not talked to his father, his grandfather, in years and years and years, so there was just no connection. I wasn't actively trying to keep him away.
No one knows if Logan met up with a sinister fate, or if he is running from bitter family strife.
He's welcome to come back anytime without an explanation. And I think he knows that.
But until more clues surface, his family is left only with speculation and desperate pleas.
If you don't want to be here, that's fine, but get a hold of us. Let us know that you're okay.
And if you need to stay away in order to feel secure, I wish you well. And I send you off love.
Here's another look at Logan. He's nearly 6 feet tall and weighs 150 pounds. If you saw him the day he went missing or know where he might be today, call the Thurston County Sheriff's Department. That number is 1-360-704-2740.